As an investor, like for Paradigm, how do you go about evaluating that risk when you have, so many startups based in the U.S. And they maybe you're coming across really promising projects, but there still is that kind of looming question of whether they'll be able to issue a token if they need to, or if it makes sense for their project.
Yeah, I mean, that's like really something that our investment team spends a ton of time focusing on, and something that we interface closely with them on the policy side, where we feel like we can be helpful. I do think in general, the U.S. is still a place with some of the deepest engineering talent and some of the deepest and most liquid financial markets. So despite big headwinds and a lot of regulatory uncertainty, it is a place where a lot of builders want to be. I just worry and kind of stay up at night sometimes thinking about us potentially losing some international competitiveness to other jurisdictions that are being a lot more active and a lot more forward-leaning when it comes to engaging with the private sector and specifically with crypto companies.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard on this podcast, like a couple of people have said, founders have said, you need to be crazy to be building in crypto in the U.S. Do you agree with that? I guess, I mean, you're seeing there's still interest, but as someone, looking at regulation and policy, would you recommend that if you're starting a company, start it somewhere else?
I don't necessarily know if I would go that far. I mean, I think one of the things that we just don't know about is all of the companies that don't get started because people are concerned. So we like kind of see the ones that get built. We see the ones that get built overseas. We don't see the ones that could have been built if the founder felt like it was like a more permissible environment. And I think it's impossible to quantify how large a group that really is, but you definitely get the perception that like there are people out there that are fearful, and it's something that we like repeatedly try to communicate to policymakers that we kind of feel like as time progresses, more and more people are going to be spending more time online in digital spaces and in digital communities. Crypto is the obvious infrastructure for a lot of digital activity in the future, whether it be commerce, community, or something else entirely. And it's, in a lot of ways, I think, neglectful to look at how digitally native communities can be domiciled anywhere, and they can locate wherever they want to, and not actively try to recruit them, to your local jurisdiction. So we really hope that policymakers start to wake up and realize that there's potential for jobs to be lost and for critical technology to be developed outside of the U.S., which is something that policymakers here should be caring about.